From hatchbacks to limousines, city cars to desert sleds, from the fast and the furious to the family favourite. Over the last year, car sales have driven and reviewed hundreds of these vehicles from around the world in preparation for this event. Carsales Car of the Year 2018. Each of these qualifying vehicles has been appraised by our judging panel for cost of purchase and value for money, and will now be assessed against key consumer-focused criteria. This is our flagship annual award that recognises excellence in Australia's new car market, the most competitive market in the world. With over 50 brands and hundreds of models, but only one will be crowned the winner of Carsales Car of the Year 2018. Our qualifying vehicles will now be assessed across these 3 testing stations: innovation and technology.
Hey Mercedes,
What do you want to do?
driver's window up.
Practicality and presentation.
These never work. Never. Never ever. And there you go! See, it did work. That's a pretty useful feature, I think.
And dynamics and safety.
So this is strictly ride, handling and safety functions.
We're trying to push the envelope of handling of the car. So it's a double lane change manoeuvre. We're trying to catch out the stability control system, catch out the suspension system, catch out the steering, see if we can cope with that emergency manoeuvre. Think of it like you're coming down the road and all of a sudden a kid runs into the road on your side of the road. You dodge to the other side of the road. There's a car coming the other way, you dodge back the other way. So you're trying to see how the car copes in that situation. When that crisis moment happens, the car needs to do what you want it to do right then and there.
In this station, we're judging practicality and presentation. So that means how is the vehicle packaged, what kind of features are included as standard, what's the finish like, what are the materials that are used there, and how's it going to perform in everyday life. We're also looking at how the vehicle is fit for purpose. You know, if it's a sports car, how does it perform as a sports car in terms of the ergonomics? If it's a family SUV, is there reasonable room in the third row? All of those kinds of things is what we're taking into consideration on this station.
And we're looking at everything to do with innovation and technology. First thing, put on the hoist, raise it up, get underneath and take a look at the underpinnings, the kind of componentry that they're using, what the aero's like underneath.
It's not fibreboard like some of the others, it's plastic as well, which is impressive.
Some of the judging I've been doing is about innovation. So there's innovation that I like.
The other thing I like is all this aluminium heat shielding under here. Like, this must cost a fortune.
Some of the other blokes are really good on the tech stuff. I think it's a good idea that we're operating in teams. So I pick up things that some of the younger guys don't, and I'm able to get them to do all the infotainment stuff for me.
I love these shortcuts as well.
Multiple cars, multiple testing stations, multiple criteria. Car of the Year is no walk in the park.
There is a little bit of pressure. These are vehicles that Australian punters are going to be spending their hard-earned cash on, and I think that makes it a really important process for us to go through and make sure that we have to be really rigorous in terms of the judging criteria so that we can make a really solid recommendation to members of the public.
It's very easy these days to get online and look at numbers and all of that sort of stuff, but when you actually get the cars together, compare them, drive them back to back, assess them back to back, then you really know what's going on. And the difference for us is we know what we're looking for. And we don't have a salesperson wandering around talking in our ear trying to distract us or saying, oh, don't worry about that. No, if we think you need to worry about it, we're going to tell you, and we're going to tell the whole world. Car of the Year is all about excellence. There's no rubbish cars here. There's only good and better.
After 2 days of initial testing, good was no longer good enough.
We've started with 24 a couple of days ago, and this is the best of the best within our definition for final judging. What we're trying to do today is we've got a set 30-minute testing loop which goes over a wide variety of roads. We're looking at ride, we're looking at handling, steering, engine response, transmission response, comfort, ergonomics, how we're relating to the steering wheel and the controls around us. And when you hit those ruts and bumps, like it's corners of the car shaking and bouncing, or we're getting rattles and squeaks, there's just a whole bunch of those dynamic and interactive things that you get to feel. We'll certainly have some robust discussions at the end of the day.
Time to put our finalists under the microscope.
So we will go and make sure they're following.
We're following Bruce and Marty, aren't we?
Yes, the grumps. And we've got the hipsters behind us in the Polo.
So, Skoda Karoq.
Karoq.
You say Karoq, I say Karoq. It's got a very firm ride and a tight body, hasn't it?
Yeah.
First impression for me, it's very refined, it's very quiet for a city car.
Looks like and feels like a bigger car in here.
Doesn't feel particularly large and barge-like.
No, this is the extended leather package.
Oh, nice. That's from a longer cow.
That's maybe it's an elephant.
Here we go. He's one of those hills.
The shifter's a little bit busy to get in the right gear, but once it's there, it pulls like a train.
I like this car.
Yeah, I do too.
And I like it because it's doing what I need it to do, and it's not got anything superfluous. It's comfy. You could quite happily drive this to Sydney now, couldn't you? Well, if you had a better passenger, you could drive to Sydney.
Oh, I like the engine straight away.
Yeah, it's strong.
Light and free sprinting.
It's hard to really pinpoint anything that's particularly unlikable about this vehicle. It's a great all-rounder. You can see why they're so attractive for so many Australian families.
First impressions, it feels like the ride's on the firm side. It does seem to be quite stiffly sprung. What's your impression from the passenger seat?
And there's quite a lot of noise coming through the cabin as
Yeah, we've got a lot of road roar, aren't we, from those big tyres?
It's a car that's got a lot of sporty promise, but the engine in this particular model doesn't deliver, does it?
I can't think of this thing as an SUV. I think of it as a people mover.
Which is pretty much what they've become, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think this is actually quite a good balance of a cushion and also some body control.
Yep.
Is this a car of the year? No. Is it fun? Yes.
We're really at the pointy end now. Judges are making their final deliberations. We're just going through those score sheets, starting to top things up.
XC40, is that your pick?
My pick, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
I think it-
I
you don't
like the
agree?
40.
I still think the Forester is spot on.
So is Forester your choice for car of the year, personally?
I wouldn't be unhappy if it won.
For me, the Polo, best all-round passenger car we've got here this year.
Yeah.
Do you mean it's the best car that's not an SUV?
Yeah, which is with faint praise because there's only 3 of them.
I think what's been a real surprise is that everybody has perceived the cars quite differently. Everybody's got some fairly strong opinions about the vehicles.
I described it to Andrea yesterday as a packaging disaster.
A couple of the judges are kind of at polar opposites in terms of their responses to a couple of the cars. What's different about car sales is we've got the access to the Red Book data. So we're going to see how that overlays with the judges' decisions. So when we get that number 1, we're really assured that it meets not only what the judges are looking for, but it also ticks those boxes in terms of numbers and data.
So this is it. This is including the Red Book part, everything.
Yep.
So the scores are in and they're all very close. We've had a lot of fun and a lot of debate.
So these are the highly commended cars first.
Volvo XC60,
I like that there.
Hyundai Santa Fe, and without further ado, the winner of the 2018 Carsales Car of the Year is the Volvo XC40. Two Volvos in the podium.
That would never have happened. In the history of Car of the Year awards all around the world, that would never have happened.
Great design, nothing else like it on the road, inside or out.
I hated SUVs and I'm still not a great fan, but look at how they've improved and how much more car-like they are now. Yeah, they're not trucks anymore.
Get with the program, Paul. More than 50% of the market is SUV. 7 of our top 10 were SUV here this year.
Yes, but thankfully there were no utes in the top 10.
Just wait till next year.